You guys requested it, so here it is, a flip through and review of analytical grammar. Today I want to talk all about analytical grammar. This is a grammar curriculum that I have been using this year with my 7th and 8th graders. Now, I originally heard about this curriculum from a veteran homeschool mom who I am friends with. She has actually graduated multiple children from her homeschool and she swore by this curriculum, and so I just took her word for it and I jumped right in. Now, before I do a flip through, I do want to do a brief overview of the curriculum in case you are not familiar with it. Analytical grammar has been around for a long time. It was originally created during the 1980s, and so a lot of homeschoolers have used this program and used it successfully. Its author is Robin Finley, but Aaron Carl is also featured, and this is currently being published by Demi Learning. They picked it up back in 2020, I believe. If you're not familiar with Demi Learning, they produce Math UC and Spelling UC and now Analytical Grammar as well. This program is meant for middle schoolers or early high schoolers, so I would say anywhere from probably 6th to 10th grade. Now, for the entire set here, for the teacher guide, the student workbook, and then also the DVD instructor set, this whole thing is $99. Now, you can also order additional student workbooks for $47. So for an entire grammar program, start to finish, I feel like that's a really pretty reasonable price. Now, I will make sure to link all of the website information down below in the description box, but I will read to you just from their site about what analytical grammar covers. Their website compares analytical grammar to the study of math, where you are following a method and building upon one skill after another until you have mastered it as a whole. It covers all the parts of speech and parts of sentences, phrases and clauses, classic sentence diagramming, rules of punctuation and capitalization, and common usage errors. So this is a full grammar curriculum. Your kids can start out knowing very little, if no grammar. Maybe they don't even know the parts of speech. And by the end of it, they will be parsing and diagramming full sentences with ease. All right, let's just jump right into it. Let's do a full flip through, and then I will talk to you a little bit about our experience, how we have been using analytical grammar in our homeschool this year, how it's working, pros, cons, all the things like that. Okay, so starting out, here's the cover of the teacher book, Analytical Grammar, A Systematic Approach to Language Mastery. First thing in the teacher book, it gives you information on how to schedule this program. There are a few different options depending on what age child you are teaching. So here, for starting out, is a 3-year program example where it is outlining that you could do units 1 through 10 in year 1, units 11 through 17 in year 2, and then units 18 through 35 in year 3. Now, if you have older students, maybe mid-high school kids, you could do all 35 units or 35 weeks of work in one school year. On the next page, it gives information about how you could schedule your week, an example of what to do each day. On page 3, there are teacher notes. This helps you as the parent or the teacher to go through and grade your child's work. Now, one thing they do suggest is that you grade work with your child shoulder to shoulder to kind of help them see what they are doing right, what they are doing wrong. Grading sentence diagrams can get a little bit hairy, and so I love the suggestion that they are telling you to check what is correct. Not to worry about what your child got wrong, but check everything that they did indeed get right. And I feel like this is a really encouraging approach and really helpful. As we flip the page, we come to the table of contents. There are 35 units in this curriculum. They are broken into 3 seasons. So season 1, units 1 through 10. Season 2 is units 11 through 17, and then Season 3 is units 18 through 35. The next few pages just give you some examples and overviews of how to teach Season 1 and some shortcuts you can take, and then you jump right into the first season, Unit 1. Now, jumping in, I'm going to kind of give you 3 different example lessons, one from each season, 1 through 3, so you can get a feel of how your child will be progressing through grammar. As you can see, my teacher guide is highlighted in some places where I've been going through and teaching with my kids, so just bear with me. So for Unit 1, you're going to start out learning about what nouns are, what common nouns versus proper nouns are. Articles and adjectives are going to learn how to mark each of these on a sentence. The next page is an answer key to the exercises that your child will be completing for the week. So here is exercise 1, exercises 2 and 3, a script for doing the skills support, and then their test for Unit 1. One of the things to note here is the box in the corner that gives you a point range so you can assign a letter grade for your child's test. I think this is really helpful and just makes grading go a little bit quicker. Now, something else I will note is that your child jumps into diagramming sentences very, very quickly. They start the basic diagrams of sentences by Unit 3 or Week 3 in the curriculum. So this is definitely very rigorous, a very fast-paced curriculum. Definitely with younger kids, you're gonna wanna take your time moving through this. All right, moving on to Season 2. All right, and then moving into season number 3, here is unit number 18. All right, and then moving on to the student workbook. I actually don't really need to do a flip through of this book because everything in this is exactly what you see in the teacher guide. All of the exercises are exactly the same. The notes at the beginning of every single unit are exactly what you have provided in your teacher guide. The only thing it is missing is obviously the answer key. Now, one thing I will say, which is I think really helpful, is in the student book, all of the pages are perforated, so they are very easily torn out. This is something that I chose to do. As you can kind of see here, there's a good chunk of my child's work missing. What I decided to do is just tear out the unit pages that we are working on and transfer them into a 3-ring binder. I just went ahead and used my heavy duty hole punch and put them in here. This just makes it a little bit less overwhelming for my kids. It also gives them the option to add in some notebook paper as they are going along. You kind of need some extra space to diagram sentences, so being able to add in extra paper for each unit has been really helpful. Now, the other item that comes along with your set is the Analytical Grammar Companion DVD set. And now this contains a DVD lesson to go along with every single unit. And guys, this is so helpful. The teaching on here is excellent. Each lesson is anywhere from 15 to maybe 20 minutes to watch. I love it because they do go through and do example sentences with your kids, break down different rules, talk to them about what is really important, what they should be highlighting and remembering for their tests. I know that this curriculum says that the DVDs are optional, that you wouldn't have to use it, you could just teach grammar yourself, but I think this DVD is actually very essential. The teaching in here is just excellent. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how we are using this curriculum in our home, in our homeschool. I am teaching analytical grammar to my two oldest kids, Noah, who is 14 and is in 8th grade, and Leah, who is 13 in 7th grade. They are doing analytical grammar together, and it's just been really fun. Now, we are only covering season 1 this year. I decided to do units 1 through 10 in one semester, and this has been working really well. I have found that we have had to go a little bit slower, take a couple of weeks to work on one unit here and one unit there if it's extra challenging. But this has just been a really good pace for my kids. As far as our daily or weekly schedule goes, we have pretty closely been following the suggested schedule from the teacher guide. We go through and on Monday, watch the DVD and do exercise number 1. This definitely is the day that takes up the most time. Watching our video takes about 15 or 20 minutes, and then it takes the kids anywhere from 20 minutes to a half hour to complete exercise number 1. So on Mondays, we're working on grammar for about an hour. On Tuesday, they do exercise number 2. Again, might take them 20 or 30 minutes. On Wednesdays, they do exercise number 3. On Thursdays, they have the option of working on the skills support page. This is not something I require them to do, but they can do if they want some extra practice. And they also spend some time studying through their notes to prepare for their test on Friday. All right, so let's talk pros, cons, and just my general takeaways about this curriculum after using it for a semester in our homeschool. I would definitely say that the target age of this curriculum is spot on. I would not do this curriculum if my child was not in upper middle school or going into high school. It is very rigorous and very challenging and fast-paced. My kids came into analytical grammar with some basic grammar skills and experience. When they were in elementary school, we did a couple of levels of first language lessons, and when they were in early middle school, we did a couple of levels from Fix-It Grammar. So my kids were walking into this with a pretty good knowledge of the different parts of speech, as well as some minimum exposure to sentence diagramming. And I will say by lesson 3 or 4, we definitely had to take a step back and slow down just a little bit because, again, this is very rigorous and very challenging. So I guess you could put that on the pro list or the con list depending on your child and your personality and what your goals are for your homeschool this year. Now, as I said earlier, this is an older curriculum, and you can definitely tell that on the DVDs. You can see that these were made a while ago, just the graphics and the hairstyles and things like that. My kids don't mind that because the information is so solid and the teaching is done so well in the DVDs. And so I have really enjoyed each of the lessons, so have my kids. Something else that I love about this curriculum is that the tests are done open notes, that my kids are able to go back through and look at their highlighted material, look at their exercises that they did previously in the week to really set themselves up for success on their test. This really takes a lot of the pressure off of test taking, and I just makes them really successful when they are doing their tests each week. I know that some people could view this as maybe a shortcut or cheating, but I don't. To me, it's very similar to math. When you get up into upper math, you are able to go back through and look at the different formulas in algebra, geometry, and calculus to make sure you have the basic formula correct to solve a problem. Well, for me, this is the same thing. You're going back through making sure you have your parts of speech correct so that you can diagram a sentence properly. I just love this. I feel like it's really encouraging and just a really good method for studying grammar. Now, along that same vein, I feel like this is a little bit like Spelling UC's philosophy. but I love that you are shoulder to shoulder with your child, grading their work and going through and checking off everything that they did correct, not going through with a red pen and marking out everything that they missed or did wrong. This makes it just really encouraging and uplifting and builds confidence in your child. And I think that grammar in particular can be something that can be, difficult for some kids, can feel very overwhelming for kids. So I love that you are building confidence with them by doing grading with them. Now, this can maybe go in the con column. Be prepared that grading can take a good chunk of your time. I would say that I sit down with each of my kids and grade for at least 10 minutes a day to go through and grade their different exercises or grade their tests. There's just a lot of bits and pieces to look through on the different sentences, on the different diagrams. So just be prepared that you're going to be doing a good bit of grading with this curriculum. Overall, I would definitely recommend this grammar program. If you are looking for something that is pretty rigorous, pretty challenging, and a full program to cover all the different parts of English grammar with your older child. Now, that being said, that does not mean that I haven't loved other grammar programs out there like Fix-It Grammar, like First Language Lessons. I think each one just comes at it a little bit differently, and you just have to find what is the best fit for you and the best fit for your kid. Now, I will be sure to link Analytical Grammar and Demi Learning's websites down below in the description box. I will also put a link to my website, my blog, where there is a blog post with a written up review about Analytical Grammar if you would like more information or just some of these items written down for you. As always, if you have not done so already, please take a second to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up. I hope you guys are having a great week. See you later.